guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to yet another video with Piladi Namrediam. I am a qualified educator teaching in Limpopo province. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do the right thing. Please do subscribe. Please do turn on that notification button. Do note that whatever that I share on my channel is based on my personal experiences as an educator. So guys, like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing. I received so much love, so much support on the last video that I made. It was titled How to Teach Reading. Who guys, the DMs that I got are overwhelming. Thank you to all the people that shared my link either on WhatsApp and on Instagram. Thank you, whether you are a colleague, whether you are an old classmate of mine. Thank you for the love. Nothing makes a YouTube content creator happy like receiving feedback from people, whether negative, whether positive, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you can literally see that people are watching your videos, people are paying attention to whatever that you're saying online. So thank you so much guys. I'm happy, I'm grateful, and please do not stop with the love and support. Guys, in today's video we are discussing all things mathematics. So we're gonna be talking about the apparatus to use, some of the strategies in order to help students that are struggling with certain concepts like time, place value, or just even counting. There are some students that can still not count, never mind counting backwards, because if that child cannot count forward, then they may struggle with counting backward. So I'm hoping that you guys will also share some of the strategies that you actually use to help struggling learners. Right, so some of these strategies that I'm going to be using are actually more focused in the foundation phase. We are laying a foundation here, and not forgetting that the students that are actually in the intermediate phase or senior in FET who are still struggling with maths, and that is because they are lacking certain basics, right? So in the strategies that I'm going to be sharing, I'm hoping that if you have a learner who is at a stage where they're not supposed to be unable to count or unable to answer certain mathematics concepts, I'm hoping that you're gonna lower down and try to teach them basics of mathematics so that they can be able to catch up. Yes, it may take a very long time, but it is actually important for them to understand those basics of mathematics that they missed at some point or could not understand. If you are teaching mathematics, especially on the lower grades, you have to use anything possible to instill the principle of counting. Whether you're gonna use your fingers, your toes, anything that you can see that is next to you, you should definitely use it to instill counting, to instill the concepts of maths. We can use sticks, we can use stones, we can use leaves, we can use shoes in the house, we can use shoelaces of students in the class, we can use their shoes. Look, anything, buckets, marbles, everything. Please don't hesitate to use anything, just so learners can understand the concept of counting, the concept of numbers, because they should grab it at that moment and move with it forever. So if you're just gonna be using one thing to instill that, then they're definitely gonna forget easily, and they're definitely gonna think we are only counting with this and that's the end. So teach them in such a way that even when they go out you know, whether they go to town, whether they visit their grandmother, whether they visit anywhere in South Africa or outside of South Africa, they can still count different things, different objects, and say, this is a number, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. If I take this 3 and add it with this 3, it's going to give me 6. It doesn't change. Whether it's a block, whether it's a house, if I combine 3 houses, it's going to give me these numbers. So don't hesitate, guys. Be like that mad woman who just, you know, that goes all out just to give these kids the knowledge, you know, the basics and the foundation that they will never forget in their lives. Like I said, guys, you can use anything to instill counting, right? You may not have this in your class. You may be teaching at a higher grade, which is maybe the intermediate phase, and you have learners that are struggling, and you don't have this. I also don't have this in my class, but I had to ask, you know. So like I said, if you have to be that mad man, mad woman who goes around asking for other colleagues to lend you, because mostly in the grade R's they have this, grade 1 they have this, you know, if it means you have to go to the lower grade just so that you can give the learners that you're teaching the basics, because what's the use of continuing to teach them with the curriculum that is higher than their, you know, understanding? So please don't hesitate. Okay, back to the real work now. So this is 1, right? It doesn't change. This is 2, right? It doesn't change. These things are 2, these things are 3, these things are 4. It doesn't change, right? Now I'm using marbles, right? This is 1. This is 2. 1 and 1 makes 2, right? Now this is the 3rd one, right? This is the 4th one, right? Whether I'm using marbles, whether I'm using counters, 1 is still 1. When I add another one is 2. When I add another one is 3. When I add another one is 4. So whether I'm using the counters, whether I'm using the marbles, the concept doesn't change, right? If I come with sticks and I count them, 1, you add another one, it's 2, you add another one, is 3, you add another one, it's 4, the concept doesn't change. If I use blocks, you know, those colorful blocks, I'm just going to show them on my screen right now. Yes. So if you use the blocks and you count them, 1, you add another one is 2, you add another one is 3, you add another one is 4, the concept doesn't change. The principle doesn't change, right? So what you're doing here is that you're teaching this child that no matter the method that you're using, the concept does not change. We shouldn't be, you know, showing them only one method of counting, because they would think that that is the only way. You are actually limiting the child. Hence, when they move to another level or another grade, then they start being confused. Remember, in the lower grades, they even use pictures for counting, right? And then as they move to the next grade and another one, we no more use pictures. We are only focused on the numbers. So if you use different methods, different strategies, then you're definitely gonna win laying the foundation. So guys, I don't want to be wasting more time, but I think the message is clear, right? Using different things. I also have rubber bands with me. I have a lot of things here with me, but because I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm just gonna move to the next activity. So with me, I have a clock, right? Yes. So remember, we have analog, when we teach time, and then we also have digital. So here I'll be emphasizing analog. Guys, especially if you're teaching public school, we don't have resources. Let's be honest, we don't. If we're going to wait for the government to provide almost everything, then we're definitely gonna wait for a long time, right? We know things take time to be delivered, and sometimes you might get something that you actually don't really want or prefer. So just to, fast forward so that you can be effective in whatever that you're doing, so that you can get great results, I'm suggesting that you buy certain things for yourself and take it as an investment. You can use some of these things for your kids in class and for your kids at home if you do have kids. If you are a tutor as well, you know that whatever investment that you're doing with buying apparatus of your own, you actually doing yourself a favor with your tutorial classes, with your learners in class and your kids at home. So I think it's a great investment, especially if you know you're gonna teach for a long time. You're gonna use this with every group that you teach every year. So I bought this at a certain stationery shop locally. I love it a lot because you can just move it practically. There's something here at the back. I don't know what it's called, a knob, right? Let me just say a knob. There's a knob at the back that you can use just to move it, right? So the reason why I prefer this is that when you teach this learners time, you can then practically give it to them to move. Let's say, for example, after teaching them or emphasizing certain concepts, like for example, let's say you want them to show you half past, right? Then you can just give it to them to move and put it here, right? So normally when I teach time, I start by dividing it into 4 parts, right? So for example, we have quarter past, right? And then we have, it's 4 parts, right? 4 parts. So the first part will be quarter, right? Which is quarter past. And then the second part will be half, right? Which is half past. And then the third one will be quarter to, right? And then the last will be o'clock, right? That's how I win it. I don't know about you, but that's how I win it, And from there, I will start telling them about the minutes, right? The minutes, all the minutes, we just count them up until the 60th minute, so that they can understand that the fact that we have two, what do we call this, by the way? 2 wings, that's how we call it. The first wing is for the minutes and the other one is for the hours. I also did a clock, which is, where did I get it? I got it, I'm not sure, but I got it online. I'm just gonna show you a picture on the video right now. I did like that. The fact that clock has minutes outside, it's actually benefiting the learners, because now they can see that there are minutes and then there are also hours. I hope you get my vibe. I'll just show it on the screen right now again. Right, guys, the next concept for today is money. I'm trying to tackle some of the difficult concepts in class. Most of the learners are struggling with the concepts that I'm touching today. I'm not saying all my learners are doing well because I'm using the strategies, but I'm saying after I have tried them, I've seen students that have improved. I've seen students that are at least getting there, right? So these strategies so far, they are definitely working for me. So I made this A3 chart after I realized that my students are struggling. We can't avoid this. Money is important. Machankura, money is important, guys. They have to understand how money works. They are sent to the shops. They have pocket money, right? They speak the language of money, right? So they have to understand, and they have to know that when they are sent to the shop to buy bread, this is how much the bread cost, and this is how much money or change they should receive from the shop owner, right? So let's emphasize it, let's teach it, let's do justice, right? So again, if they cannot count, if they don't know that 1 and 1 makes 2, if they don't know 20 you take out or you subtract 10, you are left with 10, then we have a problem. They won't be able to tackle the concept of money. So again, let's do the concept of counting correct before we can move to this. All right, so there's nothing special about this A3 chart that I made. I just opened the Word document and then chose A3 layout, and then I went to Google to look for pictures of money, notes, coins, and then I just put them and printed them in color. The reason why I printed them in color is because students are attracted by color. They learn more, tackle this word, they learn more when they see color, right? It's because it attracts them. They love seeing color, and color becomes realistic to them. We don't have black and white money in South Africa, so if we are going to work with money, let's try and be realistic, right? If I'm gonna tell a student about an apple, then let me show them an apple that is either green in color or red in color, because that is how it is, right? They relate to things. They love similarities. So I know it's costly, but I think if we plan our things in time and we budget for things, we can really achieve some of this printouts or materials. And like I said, guys, once you do this, you're gonna work with this for whatever years of your teaching life, unless you feel now it's time to upgrade because you have learned or researched something new, right? So I made this in 2020 and now it's 2022, and I'm still gonna use it as long as I am a teacher, right? So before or every time I teach the concept of time, I start by correcting their language of money, the terminology. So this is what I mean. For example, in the community where I'm teaching, most kids would say this is shilling, which is 10 cents, right? And 20 cents is 2 bob, right? So first, I correct the language, the terminology. Guys, we're not going anywhere as a country if we're going to allow students to say things the way that they feel like they should, or the way that they learned in the community. We are teachers. We are supposed to teach them the correct terminology, the correct way of academical knowledge and academical language, right? So I start by correcting the language first, and they would laugh, they would they would just make jokes of it like the whole day. So it's good that as human beings we have to be corrected at some point. I'm not perfect as well. I get corrected, I correct myself as well. So yeah, we have to do that as teachers. if we realize that these kids are not saying the right things and that's why maybe they're failing, yes, it does contribute to their failure. Because if the terminology that they're using is not used in their books, then we have a problem. That means they're not going to answer in the correct way. Okay, so before I move to the last concept, I need to remind parents, caregivers, and whoever that has a child to actually invest in their child's education. You know, I'm not speaking to teachers only on my videos because they went to school, they know most of these things. But remember now, as a parent, you have a certain knowledge of the kind of a job that you're doing, and you may not have certain knowledge of the things that your child is doing in class. And you will never know them unless you start giving yourself time to them, right? I know you have a job, I know you have a business, but it's important for you to take your time to learn with your child and to teach them, right? They have a class teacher. Call that teacher, ask them, what is my child supposed to know this term? What is my child supposed to know this year, so that they can proceed to the next grade. When you come back home, ask your child, what did you do in class today? What did you learn? Do you have a homework? Can I help you with something? What is it that you don't understand? And if you also don't understand it, there are resources online, right? And there's a website called NECT where you can access materials. There's an option for parents and an option for teachers material. So you can go there and check the grade material according to the grade that your learner or your child is doing, right? So no excuse, guys. The teachers cannot do this work alone. These kids forget some of the things, so you have to strengthen them when they get home. Please, I beg you, right? So let's move to the next work. With me I have place value cards. You know, guys, if you listen to most of my work, you'd realize that I love doing things practically. So normally in class, when you do place value, we'd have your units, your tens, and your hundreds, right? Especially in the foundation phase, that's our limit, right? I don't just speak them and say them out. I love to do them practically. So as you can see, I've made printable charts so that after teaching the learners and during the process of teaching them, I can place the cards according to the units, the tens, and the hundreds. So for example, if you look at the first set that we have 1 as a unit, we have 10 as tens, and then we have 100 as hundreds. That is their value. So if you do this practically, placing them on the board and giving them to come to place them practically on the board, then you're doing justice for them, right? And I just got reminded with 100, right? So I hear most people say 100, and like I said, let's correct the terminology, guys. I'm not saying I'm better, but it's 100. If you want to teach these learners the right terminology, correct yourself as well. If you are a parent and you're saying 100, please. If you are a teacher and you're saying 100, we're not doing justice. Let's teach these kids the correct way of saying things, the correct terminology. They will decide, but let's do the right thing, right? So let's say 100, so they realize, so they know that this is 1, right? Yes, so I'm not gonna say a lot about place value. I don't think it's a difficult concept to teach, honestly, but like I said, let's do printable materials. Even if it's not these ones, you can search a lot on the internet. I did this ones when I was still in varsity, and I'm still using them. I have displayed them on the walls, so my learners are never confused when it comes to place value. Of course, some, but a lot of them really know place value, right? So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Let's do the right thing by the learners. We are learners as well, you know. So let's try and learn new strategies. Let's try and correct our terminology. You know, I also say some of the concepts wrong for sure with something, you know, but I've also learned to reflect and correct myself, so, you know, I can give these learners the correct content, the correct knowledge. So let's do the right thing. We are here for them. We're not doing this for ourselves. So let's give them a better future than we were given at any point in life. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is your girl Piladi, and I'm Redia Mlohadi. Please do stay tuned for the next video.